For more discussion on Thailand's constitutional referendum, we are joined here in Beijing by Mr. Hailin, who is the Deputy Head of the Department of Institute of Asia-Pacific Studies with Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. Welcome, sir, to our program. Meanwhile, joining us from Bangkok in Thailand, we have Sean Boonpracong, who is a former Thai National Security Advisor. He's also a political analyst now. Welcome as well, Mr. Boonpracong. Let me start with you, Mr. Boonpracong. What do you make of the initial result of this vote referendum nationwide? Obviously, a junta-backed charter change is welcome, it seems.
The military government has to be pleased with the result, but you have to remember this particular referendum is somewhat tainted because the military themselves has the complete control over the process. There are strict laws to prohibit campaign until the last week. And so those who really feel about this constitution, we can't say. And if you look at the total number of those who are eligible, 50.5 million, only 15 million vote in favor. So that is slightly more than, less than 1/3. So we have to be careful. Yes, it was a big victory for the military who breathed a sign of relief after two former prime ministers from the Democratic Party, a fairly respect internationally in both Mr. Apisit Vejjajiwa and Chuan Lik Pai came out against this.
Okay.
But however, from the result, we must say, for initial answer, I would say that the people probably prefer to have some peace for now, but we have to see as far as long-term stability down the road. For the near term, the Thai people vote for peace temporarily.
Okay, will that bring peace, Mr. Ye? What does peace mean?
I don't think it's bringing the real peace because after all, it's a domestic situation in Thailand. It's not between the bilateral relations. But to be specified, we should point out it's bringing some certain of the stability to the Thai politics. Actually, in my personal opinion, it's the main reason of the people why the Thai people vote in favor of such kind of the constitution, because they do bring the kind of the stability and bring some confidence to the Thai people and the foreign investors. Like we need to point out, this constitution didn't solve the problem. They only ensure in the next 5 years everything will be done. The next 5 years, that means the current military regime, they're what they need. And after the 5 years, if there's a major party still win from the general election, there will be also the problem, because we know there's a very fragile balance between the upper house and the lower house. And this upper house is created by the military regime. So it's hard to say. The military decision and the people's willing, if there's some crash, what will happen after the 5 years. But currently, it should be okay because the people of the Thai, they are very tired for the political turmoil for the last few years.
What kind of politics are people tired of, Mr. Boonpracong? I think there are two things that we need to take into consideration. One is the frequent changes of the administrations. I mean, just over the past few years, you see frequent changes, even from the same family. You got different members becoming the prime minister and being driven off from the post, and others coming in as well. At the same time, you got military coup. The other thing is, will less and fewer military coups necessarily mean stability, or actually more military role inside the government or in deciding the government will mean stability? Mr. Boonpracong, may I have your opinion here?
We have to thread on this question a little bit carefully. I think that when the military government came into power, technically, they have to understand that a little bit of a political difference and the rough and tumbles of politics are frankly not that much in axis, more or less. Within the Thai culture itself, I think that there are a certain amount of space, of respect when the Democratic Party well, and their proxy, PTRC, came out on the street, the Reds stay away, and the vice versa previously, but the military decided that they came in, they claimed that they were the government that could reduce corruption, get the country moving forward. But really, that really hasn't been the case. Corruption, even among those who support the junta themselves, say it hasn't really disappeared.
Right.
So in the long term, yes, for a stability, I have to say we have to respect the will of the people. And both the Democratic Party and UDD, the rest, and Pheu Thai have accepted it, and they look forward to the next election with their role being weakened.
I see. Instability, as we know, has been looming over politics in Thailand for quite some time. The new constitution is the country's the 20th in 84 years. Since the country became a constitutional monarchy in 1932, there has been 19 military coups. The Thai economy has been suffering political turmoil. 2015, the country's economy only grew by 2.8%. For 2016, World Bank's estimate just 2.5%, even lower than last year. That's why political stability seems to be the thing that people want. Having said that, though, Mr. Ye, Thailand's military has always been playing a very different role than the militaries of the other countries. When we talk about the military coup, that usually is a very negative term in many politics. But in Thai politics, it's a different case. So explain to our viewers worldwide.
Actually, basically, we know the Thai people, Thai military, since the World War II, never involved any foreign conflicts except the small-scale conflicts with the Cambodian in the, as we all know. But the question is that this doesn't mean the Thai military is not important. Actually, it's exclusively important in the domestic process because for the last almost 60 years, Thai military play a kind of the stabilizer of the whole political process, and they really bring some economy boost for the last, at least for the last 30 years. But the point is, they can't last very long. So only after several years, they had to return to the backstage and give the power back to the civilian party or the political party. So we can see it's not like another World War, another three world countries in Pakistan, in Turkey, military do play the very important functional role in the politics. But question is how long they can last. We should know.
But now with the charter change to the constitution, that is already an institutional change we are talking about. So will they play a role longer as a stabilizer? When they have a role of a longer period of time, will they still be the stabilizer? I think those questions should be asked.
There was one important factor so I had to be reminded.
What is it?
For the last couple of thousands of years, the king played a very important role. And the military, basically, they will launch some political change in the name of the king. But after 5 years, or even we can foresee the longer term, after all, king is already been very aged. So what will happen for the next 5 years?
That's
I think this question is the answer for this question is very uncertain.
There are so many political factors that are fluid now we see in Thailand. And now, Mr. Boonpracong, the change to the constitution, military seem to have a bigger role. But what about the prime ministers and the administration's role? According to the latest change, the second part of this referendum is for let people to vote whether they're going to support the junta-selected Senate to be the sole body that would now decide who the prime minister should be. And most of the people, according to the number that we have now, in your country, majority is voting yes. They would say, well, let's just do that. Have the military appointed members to the Senate and let the Senate play a big role in selecting the prime minister. So what will this really mean? This probably is even more important than just have the military play a bigger role overall. Mr. Boonpracong.
I think we should not read too much into the demise of let's say, democratic parties. In that case, I mean both the Pheu Thai and Democrat that represent the Thai politics as a whole.
Okay,
is
Mr.
because
Boonpracong, when you said that, may I clarify here? You're suggesting, Mr. Boonpracong, that political parties and also direct elections have not really played the role as other people perceived that they did in Thai politics. And what about after this constitutional change?
After this, they would be severely weakened. There will not probably be a type of civilian government without the pretty much controlled by the military, similar to Burma vis-a-vis, which the Thai military are very, very close to. So expect the long entrenchment of the power. I doubt that the next prime minister after the election will come from the democratic groups. So it most likely would be as long as 5 years. The upper house, the Senate, 250 members are completely appointed by the military government. So it will not be possible to run the next elected government with strong interference from the military. Therefore, be prepared for long-term rule by the military. But for the facade, similar to Burma, I think Thailand in a way have gone backward. But the instability, I think that this is a little bit of a long-term question which I cannot address.
Right.
The Pheu Thai and the Democrat, they really haven't seen how their future economic would hold under the new regime. We have to wait and see, but I have to say that at least they welcome the stability.
Okay, Mr. Boonpracong, if you can briefly help us also to understand your personal view about the factor that Mr. Ye from Beijing mentioned earlier, that is so many fluids seem to be floating at this moment about different camps or different powers within Thai politics. You got the king, of course, respectful king, and then you got the military having bigger power than they used to be, and you got political parties apparently being weakened. What are we seeing even a few years from now?
I foresee the bigger role in the military, which will dominate the country to come. Even if in the shorter term of 5 years, I think it would be longer with the king in ill health. I think that with the Section 44, which is an ultimate legal section that would overrule everything, the military power is absolute. So that's what Thailand has to look forward to. And of course, economically, the rest of the world have to perceive that how much the investment has to take place. For the past 6 months, it has dropped 90%.
All right. Mr. Ye, before we go briefly from you, we've got several things going on from the outside looking at Thailand. While, of course, the political turmoil, the change of a constitution, you also got divide within the country, capital city, north part of the country, vis-a-vis the rural area. So what does it mean when you look at Thailand now after this?
This is the reason why the Thai people will prefer the new constitution, because they want to look forward. But look forward or move forward, it's a good attitude. And actually, there's no other choice, because the current government also announced that if this constitution referendum failed, they will got a new constitution without any referendum. So that's probably also the reason why you have to make the compromise, because now you can get something. If you fail, you will get nothing. But question is that looking forward and move forward, it's only attitude is not enough. The consequence is also even more important. So after 5 years, if the Thai economy will boost and will get well done, okay, I think that we still get time. But if within these 5 years, there's no big change for the economy performance, there will be a very serious problem.